Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Hanum Nabila binti Rashid. My matrix number is 2021808156 and I am from class D1BA118 3B. So, movie that I choose is Mr. Harrigan's Phones. Genre for these movies is thriller. Mr. Harrigan's Phones is a film adapted from Stephen King stories, but the work ultimately let down on all fronts based on a novella by the same name. The new Netflix films follow a teenager named Craig who has a set of supernatural experience. Craig lived with his father in small town of Harlow, Maine. When he's still a young boy, Craig had lost his mother, and this incident had left a sad impression on both him and his father. Mr. Harrigan soon hired Craig to visit his grand house every day and read to him all of kind of book, as the man was losing his eyesight. As time passed, Mr. Harrigan teach Craig the recipe for his success. Craig also teach new things to Mr. Harrigan, mainly how to use a smartphone. The device become an important tool Craig and Mr. Harrigan used to communicate with each other. Mr. Harrigan is buried with his phone, and for reason unknown, he will use the device to reach out to Craig. Mostly, Mr. Harrigan sends some cryptic message that Craig cannot decipher. But after Craig calls his dead friend to vent about a bully who's treating his life, the supernatural presence of Mr. Harrigan can no longer be denied. That because the bully is found dead under mysterious circumstances, and while the police dismiss his death as an accident, Craig wonders if Mr. Harrigan's ghost might have something to do with it. Years go by and Craig used the money that Mr. Harrigan left him to get to the college and study journalism. Craig used a new phone in college, one that doesn't seem connect to Mr. Harrigan's. His old phone, however, remained hidden in his father's house. So once Craig learned that his former high school teacher, Miss Hart, dying in a car accident. Miss Hart died after her car was hit by a drunk driver who got out of the accident. What worse is that the driver used his money and power to evade prison. It's not fair that Miss Hart is dead, but it is just outrageous that the man responsible will not get punished as he should. Craig leave a message to Mr. Harrigan saying he wants the man dead. Of course, the drunk driver dies in his shower, committing suicide by slowing soap and blocking his air vents. Craig decides to cut ties with Mr. Harrigan's one and for all. Craig went to Mr. Harrigan's house for the last time. Eventually, he had to go to his secret room, which was forbidden to enter. Since there was no one to watch, he opened the room and it turned out not so terrible. He saw Mr. Harrigan's childhood photos. They learned that Mr. Harrigan had also lost his mother at a very young age. He was more like Craig, and that was the reason why Mr. Harrigan chose Craig to read the story to him. Mr. Harrigan used to see his replica in Craig, and so he could not leave it even after his death. Craig threw his old phone into the deep water of the lake at Harlow to get rid all of these dilemmas and never be found again. Mr. Harrigan's grand house. Mr. Harrigan soon hired Craig to visit his grand house every day and read to him all of kind of book. As the man was losing his eyesight, although young Craig agreed to take up this work initially for the money, Gate Falls High School. As Craig starts his high school in a large nearby town, Gates Fall, and in that school he faced a bully named Kenny. Also, in that school, he wanted to fit in with the popular kids who all owned the first iPhone. Main character in this film is Craig. Craig is an only child. He was extremely close with his father, and his mother was dead when he was young. Craig was a precocious reader who started reading before he could walk. Mr. Harrigan saw Craig read at church and hired him to read to him for a few hours a week. Craig loved working with Mr. Harrigan. He never had his own money before, and it was nice to be able to save and have cash for outing with his friend. The memorable scenes for me is when Mr. Harrigan always give Craig some motivation and quotes to be a successful person like him, because Craig is constantly bullied at school by Kenny, and because Craig really want to buy an iPhone to get close to the girl he likes, so he can fit into the circles. This is actually a slow-moving drama plot along with no sense of purpose or design. The real travesty lies in its deception, mainly the impersonation of the horror films. The characters are colorless and the dialogue is contrived and the action is flat. But I always loved Donald Sutherland's acting, but I felt he was wasted in this role. A word to the wise: if you are looking for a compelling action-packed horror flick, move on, as this is definitely not for you. The fear factor here is negligible and the viewer will undoubtedly feel shortchanged. Moral value in this movie is friendship. Friendship like Craig and Mr. Harrigan's do not consider age. Their friendship are very lovely because Mr. Harrigan is more concerned about Craig than any other worker in his house. The love, respect, and appreciation that the young boy grew to have for him was really touching.